Tonight on Wings, take off with U.S. air power. From bases around the world, American air power stands ready to scramble at a moment's notice to meet any challenge. From high-precision attack jets to heavy bombers, the U.S. arsenal is capable of delivering a devastating blow to any corner of the earth. High-tech reconnaissance aircraft keep the Strategic Air Command in touch with worldwide developments. Aircraft carrier battle groups patrol the seas. Tonight, soar high with U.S. air power on Wings. U.S. air power gained preeminence during the Second World War, a superiority best remembered by vast armadas of bombers, such as B-17s droning over Axis territory. They took on the enemy's fighters and, using the Norden bomb sight, dropped thousands of tons of high explosives with unprecedented accuracy. But it was a new kind of bomb which ended the war. Two B-29s, the greatest aircraft of their day, dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan. Hence the equation, 1 bomb, 1 city. Along with nuclear weapons came jet airplanes, like the F-80 Shooting Star, the F-104 Starfighter, which was the first aircraft to fly at twice the speed of sound, and the high-flying U-2. Today, the Strategic Air Command is the largest group within the U.S. Air Force. It is headquartered at Offutt Air Force Base, Nebraska. Its communications network extends to every one of SAC's 114,000 personnel. Powerful computers and communication systems never sleep, but continuously monitor the exact status of 97 B-1B bombers, 250 B-52s, 950 Minutemen intercontinental missiles, and a small but growing force of peacekeeper missiles. With the capability of effectively destroying our planet many times over, there is no room for error. Some of SAC's aircraft carry no weapons, though they are the most powerful and most costly aircraft ever built. Based on the civilian jumbo jet, the mighty E-4 weighs 400 tons and carries 60 people. In times of crisis, the commander of SAC and the President of the United States would each be safely transported aloft in an E-4 command aircraft. Once aboard, they would direct all U.S. Armed Forces, even if Washington no longer existed. Lost in the vastness of the sky, they would be immune to attack by the enemy. With aerial refueling by the KC-135 Stratotanker, they could stay airborne indefinitely. Much smaller than the E-4, but almost as expensive, the Boeing E-3A Sentry is the world's greatest guardian of the skies and also carries no weapons. It is officially called the AWACS, or Airborne Warning and Control System. Its chief payload is a powerful radar that transmits and receives through a giant antenna 30 feet across, rotating high above the aircraft. On board, 16 to 20 specialists handle complex computers to carry out surveillance, weapons direction, and battle staff functions. Without firing a shot, the E-3 dramatically multiplies the effectiveness of U.S. air power. As the rotodome turns, it sweeps the radar beam to all points of the compass. From over 5 miles above the Earth, the radar can see everything of interest on or above the surface out to a distance of 250 miles. In total contrast, the now retired Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird flew missions more like a spacecraft than an airplane. Its amazing shape enabled it to fly faster than 2,000 miles an hour and also made it difficult to see on enemy radar. Every flight was planned like a space mission. Hundreds of skilled people were involved. All efforts focused on 2 men, the pilot and the RSO, or Reconnaissance Systems Officer. Dressed in full pressure suits, they looked more like astronauts than pilots. In the rear cockpit, the RSO managed complex radars, infrared sensors, and cameras similar to those carried by spy satellites, though details are still secret. Up front, the pilot flew the amazing airplane. For crew safety, escape systems that could operate at over 100,000 feet had to be developed. The Blackbird, still used in NASA research missions, is over 107 feet long and 55 feet wide. Constructed largely of titanium, it is made to withstand the high temperatures and forces imposed on it when flying faster than a bullet. When the gear comes up, the SR-71 becomes the fastest and highest flying airplane in the world, and one of the most elusive. A contributing factor to the Blackbird's stealth is that it flies at over 80,000 feet, or 16 miles above the Earth. To reach high altitude and speed, each power plant generates more than 30,000 pounds of thrust, more thrust than the engines on board the Queen Mary. Most of SAC's aircraft are armed. Perhaps the most renowned bomber in the world, the Boeing Stratofortress, first flew in 1952. Today, many of them are older than their pilots. Though originally designed to fly at 40,000 feet, carrying a few nuclear bombs, these B-52Ds were rebuilt to fly at low level and carry up to 40 tons of conventional high explosives. In Vietnam, they dropped more tonnage than in all of World War II. Today, only the latest versions of the B-52 are in service. These are the G and H models. A vital weapon carried is the ALCM, or ALCM, Air-Launched Cruise Missile. At the bomber's base, a special truck brings up ALCMs for loading aboard the aircraft. A B-52 can carry 20 of these awesome weapons, 12 under the wings and 8 on a rotary dispenser inside the fuselage. After release from the bomber, the ALCM's wings unfold, the jet engine ignites, and it becomes a miniature airplane over 20 feet long and flying at jet speed.